Hello, for this week Unit 5 video discussion, we will be talking a little bit more in depth about risk management and some of the tools that are used. So what is a risk register and why is it used? Um, well, it is used to identify potential risks in a project or an organization. Sometimes it is used to fulfill some regulatory compliances, but usually it's used to help stay on top of potential issues that can potentially cause negative outcomes on a project. The risk register includes all information about each identified risk, such as the nature of that risk, the level of that risk, who owns that risk, and what are the mitigation measures in place to respond to that risk. So, what is project risk control and why is project risk control important? Risk control is a process that involves the implementation of risk response plans. It also involves tracking the identified threats, identifying potential new threats, monitoring the residual risks, as well as evaluating the efficacy of risk responses utilized during the entire project. With control risk, project managers are able to select better alternatives. They are able to execute contingency plans more efficiently and are able to take the necessary corrective actions in order to make sure the project stays on track and on budget. So when would you someone create a risk assessment chart? Well, the risk assessment chart or matrix is a tool used during the development of the risk management plan. What is contained in a risk mitigation matrix? A risk mitigation matrix identifies risks on a project where those risks will require to be mitigated, hence the name risk mitigation matrix. It will list things like the options to mitigate, the risks themselves, and the impacts that those options will have on the project overall. What is a probability and impact matrix? A probability and impact matrix is a chart that has a probability on the y-axis and the impact on the x-axis. It helps to visualize the risks and the likelihood of each risk occurring. So when thinking about the specific project, how will your team determine the various project risks and come to a consensus regarding the risks? Well, for Team B, the mobile mammogram unit, we first looked at the previous risks from other projects and cross-referenced those risks to our own project. We then looked at some of the common risks that were out there, and then also we used some of our own expert judgment based off of current conditions and based off of our own expertise. Many risks, especially the probability and impact, can be subjective. So how do project managers reduce the subjectivity of the probability and impact on a project? Well, in order to help eliminate subjectivity, project managers should conduct a qualitative and risk analysis. They should also look at previous similar projects and use their own company standards when rating risks. When all else fails, the best thing to do is to use your own company standards. That way you are well within your own company's SOPs and guidelines, therefore nothing can potentially happen negatively against you as a project manager.